afternoon, everyone. We are very excited to have this event today. This is another family council event. So we're privileged to have our registered dietitian, Paula, with us. Thank you for being with us. Today is National Registered Dietitian Day. So thank you for your service to the community and everything that you do. And but I'm going to let you kind of introduce yourself, tell us how long you've been kind of helping out at the ladies' home, and a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just generate some discussion.
Will do. Thanks. My pleasure to be with you. My pleasure to be here to provide services and care and integrate with this whole community. It's an awesome group to work with. As you mentioned, this is National Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day, and it's also National Nutrition Month. So March is a time where we kind of recognize the value of nutrition and how does that play in our lives and function in our lives, and in healing of disease and prevention of disease, the benefits of nutrition across the continuum. And certainly in my work here, I'm always really grateful to work with a fabulous kitchen. We have excellent food service staff and wonderful menus. But I've been here, my affiliation here has been, I'll say, over 25 years, wow, which is a good long time. We've seen lots of changes. We've seen lots of adjustments to, what the trends have been and what ladies have been asking for, and just kind of a responsiveness, I think, has always been the key. Individualizing, too.
Very good. So let's just define for a minute, what does a registered dietitian do?
Okay, well, a registered dietitian, the background and the training and the credentialing sort of involves a lot of science. So there's plenty of chemistry and biology and biochemistry and sort of that kind of in my background. But then we really like to think of nutrition as an art and a science. It kind of integrates, behavior and choices and individualizing patterns, respect to cultural practices, and also, of course, a respect and understanding for the science that's underneath biological processes and disease prevention and that kind of thing. So in my role as a registered dietitian, I meet with individuals one-on-one. I'll do some training, counseling, education, kind of meeting people right where they are and finding out what would be most helpful. And if they're looking at making positive change for health practices, there's adjustments that we can make, and I like to individualize that.
I love that. There's such a wealth of knowledge. There's such just a full encyclopedia of information. But then to be able to take that and break that down into measurable goals for people, right, so that they can see the progress that they desire. So
exactly.
So great.
Right. That's right.
So as that applies to our elderly population, what are some of your concerns that you may know that people in that group may not be aware of that you can address through what your role is?
So great question. Especially as we age, what becomes really important is protein. Protein is one of those macronutrients. Think of macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, healthy fats, that all of those are in the foods that we eat, and they support healthy function. But as we age, it can become more difficult to get adequate protein. In fact, we know and understand that women over the age of 70, about 50% of women over that age don't meet their body's need for protein on a daily basis. And there's a multiplicity of reasons that it can be difficult to get enough. Sometimes simple access to food, cooking of foods. You can imagine, meats and protein foods typically take a little longer to prepare. And even taste perceptions that change. Chewing, the ability to chew, impacts in terms of protein intake. So one of the things that we really look at with this population is, are they accessing enough protein? Do we include enough protein in the menus? I will be happy to say that yes, we do. We go above and beyond here. But also maybe supplementing some things that might contain some protein, and making sure that the ladies that we work with are able to incorporate that in their meals. Can they chew, for example? Are there digestive issues? Are there concerns about taste perceptions that would impact there. So protein is probably the first thing that we think of. Another really important aspect with nutrition / hydration shows up, and that's what I'll bring in, is the concept of hydration. And it's very easy to get dehydrated. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're dehydrated. Our bodies can go a long time without taking in a lot of fluid. And in this population, dehydration can show up with confusion, increased risk for, different metabolic processes. We even think of things like bone density and things like that that are impacted by both protein and hydration status.
Wow. And I love that term, taste perception.
Yes.
It's not presented as, say, a loss of taste or, but just a transition of taste or, could you maybe touch on a few things that may impact taste perception?
Sure. So, with changes in physiologically as we age, we do see changes in the brain, we see changes in oral and dentition health, oral health, just the acuity to perceive different tastes and different, smells. So taste and smell are two senses that are linked. And with changes there can be a loss of interest in food because a person just doesn't have the same arousal or appreciation with foods that might have been favorite foods in the past. And commensurate with that, we often see a real increase with sweets. And because sweet perception is really the last ability in terms of taste perception to kind of lead. And so a lot of times, with older folks enjoying some sweets, enjoying a little bit of, a cookie at 2 p.m., a cookie at 2 o'clock in the afternoon can be the highlight of the day. We don't want to remove those sort of things, but we don't want that to be the only source of energy intake, calorie intake, nutrition.
Yeah, well said. So this is just kind of a reminder to everybody that's listening. Our family council concept is to just create these authentic conversations, to expose you to maybe a dynamic that you don't know that we have offered here at Petersburg Home for Ladies, or just to give you insight onto some of the processes that are here but maybe don't have access to all the time. So one of the things that we are doing, we have our activities director here. She's off the screen, but if there are comments and you want to post comments, she's here to let us know that that's going on. So anytime we're doing these live events, feel free to comment and as it's taking place, because we love to interact with you guys.
We actually do have
we
a
have
comment.
Okay.
From a Miss Tipton. She remarks that patients with dementia can also forget to eat and drink.
Very good point.
Great point. Great point. And maybe I can respond to that.
Absolutely.
Certainly, we respect and understand as there are changes in the brain with dementia and other complications there. It's our job really to prompt, to encourage, to monitor, to make adaptations and adjustments as needed so that our residents, our ladies, really are able to maximize their nutrition and their intake at meals and snacks and hydration, with the beverage carts and things like that that are offered throughout the day.
Yeah, wonderful. And so, you come in here and you're always such a positive, you just bring a positive environment with you. There's always a smile on your face. And so I gather from that you have very satisfying moments throughout the day. And so perhaps you could highlight some of the very satisfying takeaways that you have in your job.
I'd be happy to do that. I'm glad you can see my smile. We've been wearing masks for so long, we don't even know what smiles look like on each other. But yeah, it's a pleasure to work here. And it's a joy to work with ladies and the staff. One of the things I say often to your leadership here, and I'll say it right on camera, is I brag about the Petersburg Home for Ladies because the continuity of the staff, the consistency of the staff, the individualized attention, love, respect, you just don't find that everywhere. It's absolutely remarkable. So it is a joy to come in and interact with staff who know their residents, who know their stories, know their preferences, know their tolerances, and look forward to working with. I think you have a dynamite food service staff here. They're super motivated, they're very comfortable with individualizing, with making changes, offering all kinds of alternatives at meals. Everything we can do across the spectrum really to encourage good intake. Socialization at the meals, again, fabulous thing to see here. Don't get to see that everywhere. The ladies' participation at meals in a dining room setting, as home-like as you can. It's remarkable. It's a pleasure to see. Those are highlights for sure.
Wonderful. And so to everybody that's watching this, I just want to remind and encourage everybody that we get to see almost like snapshots of people throughout the day. And you guys have the different interactions with your loved ones than we have. And so the more we can put snapshots together, the more streamlined the movie becomes. As opposed to a bunch of still shots, it becomes their entire process. And so we want to always generate these authentic conversations. Feel free to continue to reach out, comment, that kind of thing. Do we have any more comments?
Just from Ms. Tipton saying, this is great, love to learn more about how to care for seniors.
Wonderful. So again, we just want to continue to generate conversation. So we're going to continue to put out additional content next month at our next Family Council, and really just try to let the ebb and flow of these events grow. So thank you guys so much. Paula, anything else?
Nothing more. Just again, appreciate the opportunity to communicate, and I'll just underscore what you just said, Tim, about the communication how important and effective that is, just in giving continuity of care to the ladies we serve.
Yep.
Thanks.
Well, thank you guys for watching this, and feel free to share and follow the Ladies Home page and get this message out to everybody. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.